We are rolling, chaps. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Dave, we're going to ask, what is a sort of typical day in the life of Dave Benson Phillips?
Well, a day of mine could be, it could range from anything because, as an entertainer and somebody who broadcasts and writes and presents and performs, it could be any one of several things. So, to give you an idea, prior to when I came to work for everybody here at Getting Back with Dave Benson Phillips, I had already done a couple of days of entertaining the children at Butlins with my sort of children's music shows.
So tell us about what you do at a typical show like that.
Oh, well, I would just get hold of my guitar and I would just
Yeah.
perform songs to the children. So it's actually a really simple show.
Yeah.
It's just me on the stage with a room full of children and adults, and
Yeah.
we sing lots and lots of songs, and we get to do actions and stuff like that. So that's the young children and families.
Yeah.
That's that particular bit.
So you do that, and then what comes after that?
Oh, car journey. There's always a car journey involved. So I'm driving to the next gig to perform. And then what else was there? I mean, I did some sort of filming left, right, and centre for other people as well. I had seen a young lady, and I'd hosted at her party. It was a very special party for her. So she was about 6 years old. So again, that was a nice thing to do. And yeah, my works vary. And also, of course, I do some 80s concerts. I host some 80s events around the UK with a very good showbiz friend of mine,
Yes.
one Mr. Pat Sharp.
Who, of course, you are. We should stress you are very good friends with, and
Yes.
we are not in any way. We do reference him in
Yeah.
the show, but it's in a very affectionate way.
It's very affectionate. I mean, I have so much love for Pat Sharp. It's unbelievable. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
But can we ask, was there a bit of a rivalry when you were on television between the two? You had the two channels, CBC,
Yeah.
CITV.
I guess in a way there was. I mean, I don't think it was an overt kind of rivalry. It wasn't like we couldn't be seen in the same place together.
Yeah.
But he had his messy game show on
Yeah.
CITV. I had a messy game show on CBBC.
Yeah.
So in a way, I guess in children's television terms, we were the equivalent of Oasis versus Blur.
Yeah.
We
Well,
were.
of course, back then, we didn't have the range of channels that we do now.
That's right.
BBC, ITV, they were, quite.
They were pretty much the staple of everybody's
Yeah.
viewing, whereas now,
Yeah.
like you say, rightly
Yeah.
so.
Well, and of course now people are on the internet, on various video platforms.
That's right.
Which is where hopefully people are currently watching this.
Well, I'm hoping that they get to watch this because it's quite amazing. But yes, you're absolutely right. So, rivalry, if there was, it was fine, only in viewing figure terms. But the fact of the matter is that both Pat and I do a lot of stuff. As of recently, over the past few years, we've actually worked together on quite a few things. So it's very sweet.
So at these sort of 80s concerts that
Yes.
you're doing at the moment, so tell us, who are the sort of people you're sort of introducing at the moment?
Well, at these Let's Rock events, we've had people so far like the Christians. We've had Rick Astley on recently. We've had UB40, Mr. Billy Ocean, when the going gets tough. We've had him on. We've had people like Rosella, everybody's free. Had people like that. Have I mentioned Kim Wilde? Kim Wilde's been in there as well. The Selector. We've had a lot of people from the 80s. Oh, the Human League we've played with as well. Just loads and loads and loads of acts.
Because it seems to be quite a big thing, nostalgia, 80s, 90s, obviously hoping that we'll sort of tap in a little bit.
Like you say, it was a huge thing to actually see. I mean, the 80s was a time when I grew up. Would I look back on it affectionately? Maybe I wouldn't have, but when these people got me involved, and I suddenly realised, actually, it wasn't that bad. I mean, we were growing up in it, and so, of course, as young people, we were growing up with all the foibles and the angst and all the ambitions and hopes and dreams that we would achieve through life. So you can imagine when listening to the music and stuff, and seeing pictures and seeing people in the outfits, the whole hark back is quite amazing, and to the point of whereby I will host with Pat, and we'll go out and we'll introduce the acts, and we'll find ourselves at the side of the stage watching the acts sing their songs, and we knew every word. Do you know what I mean? And it was just one of those things, and at the time, I look at it now, just think, yeah, it was cool. It was cool to do, and it's actually cool to be part of these 80s events. It's lovely. Go West is another group of people that I've worked with. So again, we've introduced those. We had the cutting crew on the other day. It's been wild acts.
So of course another thing that you do, of course, is the Get Your Own Back live show.
Oh yes.
Which of course you're doing in Edinburgh. So
yes,
obviously that's where we first met you.
it's true.
Now, do you get to meet sort of a lot of comedians up there? Are you interested in comedy?
Do you know what? I love comedy. I tried a long time ago, and I had always entertained children. So at the time that this was all made, I've been entertaining children now for I think it's like 35 or 36 years. So it's been a long old time. But I'd always had a leaning towards doing comedy stuff or comedy musical stuff. And I did try to attempt to do stand-up. I tried to attempt writing for various performers, and I couldn't do it. I was always at that stage where I wrote the gags. They'd say, oh, well, just try them out. They tried them out, sometimes on certain well-known broadcasting programmes, and I'd hear my gags go out, and I'd go great, where's the check?
Right.
No check.
So have you ever tried live stand-up at all?
I've done a bit of live stand-up. I've also stood in for people when I've done a bit of stand-up as well. So I know I can do it. And it's a lot of fun. But I do approach it from the angle of being somebody who's involved in children's TV, who often gets mistaken for other people. Yeah. And a lot of my comedy is derived from the fact that I am me, but everybody thinks I'm everybody else, or they don't like me very much. And I have to spend a lot of my time proving that I'm actually okay. But no, it's fun to do. It's fun to watch, and like I said, I've always liked the comedy thing. I've always liked it. But so when I was in Edinburgh, met a lot of comedians. We got quite a few of them on the show, which is great. We've got yourselves on the show as well, which is spectacular. We like that. Yeah, I like meeting comedians. Comedians are great, funny people. And what's really nice is the comedians don't mind meeting somebody like me, because there used to be a time when, I guess, when people did children's television, we were looked upon or looked down upon or somewhat belittled. But for some reason now, and I know this now from the Get Your Own Back shows, when we do them live for the audiences, that we're actually kind of looked upon in a way that was far more affectionate than what I actually first thought.
Next time.
Might as well just ask the question. It's about the trolling, isn't it? Yeah.